All right, how's everybody doing? Please let me know if you can hear me all right, but here we are in New York City. This is actually an area that I wanted to show off first. It's something that I've been working on off camera, not in an episode, last few nights. And I think it came out really nice. This is actually a default road that I've just done up really heavily with intersection marking tool to kind of create and extend this grass median from where it ends right here, where you can see the curb texture is slightly different. And then just extending it and adding in some trees and bushes to get it all the way to the end. And then all the lines to, paint which direction the cars are going in. So this is a particularly crazy intersection that I wanted to make a little bit nicer. And I definitely want to do more of this. I really want to do way more intersection marking tool work. It's just so time consuming, and there are just so many intersections in this build. But I've been wanting to fill this out a little bit because, there's such a big gap right now. Another thing that I've worked on a lot as we zoom out here is the grid. So I've been trying not to show too much grid either in the episodes or in the live streams, because when you're staring at this, it's not the prettiest thing out there, and I want to be building more than I'm just laying down roads. But a ton of roads have been built. So I pretty much finished like this entire bit of Midtown, all of the East Village, and really all that I'm missing now is like the West Village and the Washington Square Park area, which has, a bit more of a unique grid. There's still some grid up here, but this is very different. I might include some of that in a video because I think some of those roads are maybe a bit more interesting, but Wall Street, Broadway. Yeah, Broadway is pretty much built all the way down now. So, Broadway comes in this way into Union Square and then pops out here on the other side. And for most of the length of Broadway, I've made it this nice 2-lane road with the buffered parking lane and the bike lane before it separates into Lower Manhattan and becomes more of a 2-lane road, and eventually, I don't know how far down it is, but at some point, it must be like way into here. Yeah, we have, bus lanes painted on it, and a lot of this is not configured yet. I still even need to just go in, with the traffic manager and kind of get rid of some of these crosswalks, because so many of these streets around here aren't even meant to be like driven on. Like some of these streets are probably pedestrianized, but building Lower Manhattan is one of the toughest parts of the build because there's so many unique and iconic buildings that I'd rather be building, but that I'm not because they don't exist. And I'm hoping they do one day. And I try to fill in where I can. So actually these 2 blocks right here were filled in off camera a few days ago. Just some spots that made sense. But if I back out real quick from this camera view, you'll see our biggest need now is industrial and office. And it's not always clear which is which. You can kind of build either as long as you have enough education. So I'm tempted to try to get some more of this done today. If we can fill in a few more blocks, that would be great. But if not, certainly in a soon episode, I want to. Well, we're not gonna show you too much of that. I want to build out some of this because there's a lot of industrial that comes around here where the Long Island Expressway goes into the Midtown Tunnel. So I think that could be a lot of fun to do in an episode coming up. I really do want to get to like Times Square, Grand Central, but until I finish the kind of more educational episode about Northern Midtown, Billionaires Row, I think I might either go into Queens or go into Brooklyn because it's time. I really do think it is. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. Why is Broadway like that in real life? Because that's actually one of the roads that existed prior to the grid. So the grid plan in New York, which starts at Houston Street but is really complete here above 14th Street, was developed in 1811 and laid out and surveyed over the subsequent decades. But Broadway, which you can see cutting down through here, it's not right here because this is eventually where some of the pedestrianized areas around Times Square go. But this is originally the route. It just made sense for the north angle. But they shot it something. Sure. Hold on 1 second. No, I don't know why that's weird. Don't on me, don't crash on me. All right, can you guys hear me now? Is that better? Yeah, I think it's working now. What happened was my NVIDIA broadcast was screwing up for some reason. So you might hear some more background noises now. You might hear some clicks and sniffles and whatnot, but you know, at least you can hear me at all. I've never had that happen before. The NVIDIA broadcast is like dope. Like I absolutely love using it. And it's a shame that it's not working right now, but what are you gonna do? All right, so let's get into what I wanted to build today. So I'm gonna pause the simulation real quick. I wanted to lay down the Statue of Liberty today because somebody suggested that, and I think it's a fun build, and you know, will give us some nice views looking uptown. I guess I can't avoid it too much, and it's not gonna really spoil the next video, but yeah, big chunk of northern Midtown, Billionaires Row has been built as well. Ooh, so yeah, see my street view for this like the overlay I have doesn't quite extend out this far, so I'm gonna have to kind of freehand this, but that's all right. All right, so I'm gonna be off looking around a lot because I gotta go over to my monitor to see what's happening here, but I definitely want to lay down the Statue of Liberty. Let's back out of camera mode, and let's search for statue. Now, this won't lay down without a road. So let me... The tough part is really, yeah, is building this without, like, any road connections. Let's see if I can get the angle of the statue here, right? Because it is kind of... Yeah, it's pretty much straight, so I think that'll work. Just about right there. Now, what I do have to do, of course, is get the area around it a bit nicer. So let's get the rest of the roads built. Take off all these. Then I think I'll key in the island next because that will probably matter somewhat. I gotta get these roads better. That's a bit nicer. Okay. I gotta keep you guys up here too. Robbie for the nightlife, Wall Street for the offices. Yeah, that's essentially how I'm building it. You know, the one area, as you can see, that's really outstanding right now is industrial and office. So after we build this, we're gonna go into downtown Manhattan. We're gonna try to lay down a few blocks, and we're gonna try to focus on that being office buildings. Mikolaj, you're visiting the USA for the first time in 3 weeks from now. That is awesome. Where are you going in the States? All right, which key do I want to lay down here? I might need to go get some rocks from the workshop to really detail this. I want to do this like detailed like a little bit. So let's do one of the older looking keys and try to mimic the shape that it has around the island. Kind of do wish I had an overlay for this because that would make it a little bit easier, but you know, what are you gonna do? Can't have it all. And I'm gonna let this key be pretty angular, like rounded. I mean, I don't need it to be. I don't need this to be perfect, of course. I just want it to look good. As we've spoken about before, kind of my mantra: better. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. We really want to make a nice area here. So if I can get this one straight, the pier for the ferries is right around here. So I want to. I'm not even sure I have the right mods to get that working, but you know. We'll do what we can. Let's see. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, I think that's a reasonable edge. Now I gotta get all these keys to the same level though. This one node in particular is way too far down. What? Ah, come on. There we go. Yeah, maybe I'll just make all of them the same height. And I wanted them like the same as this. So can I... Let me not do any of these. Let me just do... Oh, not segments. Let me just do the nodes. I'll untick that. And I'll untick this so that I can get them to all be the same height. Fantastic. Okay, quick look at the chat. What's going on? Yeah, I wish more city planners would be in that mantra because I feel like we don't get anything done now anymore in cities. Like, we were talking about getting good things done constantly and it never happens. I mean, I think it's okay to tell someone to go visit Lego and Nintendo stores because, like, you know, who doesn't love Lego and Nintendos? Unless, you know, you actually care about how they treat consumers, which is like, especially in Nintendo's case. But, you know, I think there's certain things you can do in a city when you're visiting it that make total sense if you're not going to be in the city for very long. And then there's certain things in the city that are just like, why would you do that unless you have a lot of time? I was talking to someone the other day about visiting Paris, and they'd really want to go to Disneyland Paris. And I'm like, I mean, there's so many better things to do in Paris, but if you have like a whole week and you're not going to any other European countries, yeah, I think, you know, that could be a really nice day. But if you're only there for 3 or 4 days, like, oh, you could do so much better than that. All right, let's see. Do I have any way to actually get these ferries working? That's what I'd want to do before I start detailing the rest. Yes, part of the island does belong to New Jersey, but I think you're mostly thinking of Ellis Island, which is right here, which in reality, basically like only the original buildings that are on like this part of the island are actually part of New York, and then like a big chunk of the rest of the island, which is landfill, is part of New Jersey. There's some really good videos on YouTube about that from like Half Is Interesting and places like that. I mean, I think it'd be a cool topic for this channel, but I think it's been done before. So, but go check one of those out. It is super interesting, and you know, one of those weird quirks of the law. I mean, we're gonna keep working on this, but I don't want to just work on that. So, if, you know, occasionally do suggest or ask for places you'd like to see today, because I'm happy to take a look at them. I'm planning today to be about an hour and a half as usual in terms of the length of the stream, so you know, we got some time here for sure. Yeah, this is Governor's Island. It's not detailed at all. It's got a little hole in it for some reason. I've never worked on Governor's Island during my New York builds, which is ridiculous, and I think I will at some point during this build, because Governor's Island is like so cool. Although I've never actually been. You know, I think that's one of the classic like New Yorkers, like, I've never been to the top of the Empire State Building. I've never walked the Brooklyn Bridge, which is things like all tourists do when they come here. But as someone who actually lives here, yeah, I haven't done these things. I'd love to, I really would, but it hasn't happened. All right, I think I have to go into mass transit and go into ships. do I have any? I still have the custom ones. Yeah, this is. I want to use one of these. Now they're a little finicky if I remember from the past, but so here's a ferry stop. I don't know. I don't know if I can get this to work the way it's supposed to work. We're gonna find out, guys. We're gonna find out. What if I put that there? And then I don't know, where's like the actual I really wish there was like better pier and ferry assets in the workshop, but I shouldn't complain. I'm gonna make this work, you know? I need the roads. Where's the roads? Oh, the paths. Okay, let me try using one of these. Yeah, can I do this? That's got to come down a little bit, I think. All right, that's that. And then, but now there's a random artifact here. I'll work on that in a second. Oh man, I hate this. I really do. Why isn't that not latching on? See, I'm telling you, these are really finicky. Oh, because that's a road. I need paths. What am I doing? All right, but I want that to be... Okay, I think that's connected now. Now, the question is, will it work? We're going to find out. I think I can get this down with one of the terrain modifiers. Let's see. Network, terraforming. Let's see. This is something that like this is like one of these advanced mods that if you never used it, it's really strange. It's a really strange mod to use. No, just give me one of these. I don't need it to be this big. And then I can like put this here and then hopefully get this to come down. Yeah, there we go. That's how you do it. Now that's all hidden under the water, but now let's see if the ferry actually works. So, no, let's go into mass transit mode. Let's go only vanilla stuff. Ship path, ferry path. Oh, wait, is there a ferry stop though? Oh, how does this even work? Here we go. Okay, so the stops are there. And then, is this a ferry path? I guess. I'm so like, this is something that I just don't use ever, you know? There we go, there we go. I don't know what those yellow paths are. Oh, those are the ship paths. Okay, so, now these two buildings are ferry pier, ferry depot. So let me put it from the pier. What was I just doing? I'm like, I hate this. I really do. All right, we're gonna do that. Then we're gonna connect this to here. We're gonna connect this to here. And that should work if I put in a ferry stop now. So, create a new ferry line. Hey, look at that. And this will be the Liberty Ferry, I think it's called. I don't know. I'm gonna call it that. I feel like that's fair enough. All right, hold on. Let me check out chat. What's happening with you guys? Hello, hello. Yeah, I guess it is fun to be a tourist in your own city, and I should do it more. How much of the other boroughs, counties are you planning on doing? My parents are from Queens and wanted me to ask. Yeah, so let's back out a little bit here. Let's run the simulation, see if I can get that ferry working. So for Brooklyn, what we'll be doing mostly is, I'd say, Williamsburg and Greenpoint, like west of MacArthur, west of the Kosciuszko. And then basically everything that is west of the BQE, which is like runs kind of like this. And we'll do a bit of downtown Brooklyn towards the Barclays Center as well. And then for Queens, we'll be doing all of Long Island City, a good chunk of Astoria, probably some of Sunnyside, the rail yard here. Maybe we'll get to like Hellgate Bridge and not LaGuardia. We're not doing an airport. I'm not opposed to even doing some further out places just as like a small chunk just to show something different in a future episode. But you were talking way down the line here. For sure, for sure. Hey, Chigaboom, thank you. Or Chigaboom, it's Chicago Boom. That's what I get for quickly glancing off the screen. Are we ever going to do Staten Island? No, there is no Staten Island on the map. It does not exist. Staten Island's way out here in the clouds. Alright, let's see. Is this actually working? Is the ferry actually working? Has it actually issued any ferries? Let's find out. Or do I even need to, like, I might need to actually, like, manually add vehicles on. Yeah. Select types, there's only the default. Let's just put 2 in for now and see if it actually works. Ooh, here we go. Oh, hey, look at that. All right, so that boat works. Oh God, it clipped it. Everyone's dead. Where's this guy going? He's going to the Statue of Liberty, guys. We did it. It works. All right, but what we do need to do with the Statue of Liberty, though, if to make it actually work, is detail it a little bit, and we're gonna need to put some services in because there's no road, so all the services need to be here. So let's go back to. Everyone forgot? Forgot about what? What am I forgetting already? All right, so how does this work? So basically there's like some red tiles. I don't know if I have any like red. I think red would be a great color to have here, but oh no, I can use these bricks. I'm sure if any of you have been around for my series before this, you'll be very familiar with these with these red tiles and the white version of them as well. Yeah, I used a lot of them in the last build. In the East Yorkshire build, which if you're fiending for more of my videos, you should go and check that out. Some of the early ones were rough when I was still you know, learning about how to video edit and how to do city skyline stuff, but you know, I think a lot of what made me better at it now is stuff that I learned there. So if you like what's happening here, go check it out. Just copy this and get it aligned, and then we're gonna just keep doubling it. Although I might only need to do this once because I think I don't need to make this too long. Maybe one more. I think that's enough. Like going cross out here trying, I gotta move this entire thing, but okay, that looks good. I like that. And then oh, are there no circle versions of these though? Yeah, because like this connects to like a circle and then a path. But what I'm thinking I'm gonna do instead is this is where you gotta get creative, right? So I'm gonna do one more row of these, and then I'm gonna build the path. Because there's like another ferry on the other side, which I won't actually build because it's like it goes to New Jersey. I don't really feel like building New Jersey right now. You know what I mean? We might never build anything in New Jersey, and that's okay. I built a lot in New Jersey in my previous version of the of this build, so you know, I'm just playing around, guys. I don't actually hate on Jersey, all right? Nothing against the Jers. Come on, where are you? I guess he's not going to come up and play. Okay, that's fine. We'll worry about that later. But I think for the rest of this area here, I want to make like a pattern or a design. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a gift shop for sure. I'll turn this entire thing into a park. And that's how I'll be able to... Oh yeah, let me unpause the simulation so I can see people coming in here actually. Is traffic spawning on or off? It is currently enabled. I will eventually turn it off once the mass transit gets built out. Right now, we only have a few subway lines running. All the numbered lines and the L, like that's it, and a few buses. There's just not enough. If I untick that right now, my traffic would totally grind to a halt. And right now, my traffic's at 73%. So I probably could turn it on and get away with it. It's just not worth it right now. Catman Pro, thanks, man. That's I appreciate that. What will you do in CS2 if it ever comes out? I mean, there's no way to answer that because we don't know if it is coming out, if it's going to come out anytime soon, if it's going to support or have some way to transfer things or not. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I will let the magicians at you know, the studios involved do their thing. They'll figure it out. I'm not worried about that. All right, what if I do like a hexagonal pattern, something like that? I think that could work if I rotated these. Instead of a circle, I feel like a hexagon would be nice. But I gotta be careful. I gotta use the right angles every single time. I probably won't make this perfect, right? I feel like I won't get the angles quite right, but you know, it'll look hexagonal, so that's what's important. I feel like if I'm putting two of these end to end, do I need to? I don't know how I'm gonna do that. No, this needs to come down more. Maybe like that? Yeah, that'll work. And then two of these. All right, there we go. Fill in these. Oh, that is a lumpy hexagon. I think if I just drag this down, it'll even itself out. There we go. That's good enough for me. Yeah. Oh, hey, I Am Pie. What's going on, man? Yeah, not trying to go too crazy here, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna ring it with some trees. So let's check out our alder trees that I pretty much use everywhere. I think some 14 meters would look nice. That comes up about halfway, and then yeah, I think I'll clear out some of these extra. Some of these extra ones, and then yeah, I'll just fill this in with trees. Okay, let's just replace that so it's not sticking out past the edge of the trees. Same with that one. Let's move this one like that. Perfect. So now only the top has the hex in it, and I probably could just like move these back so it's not lumpy anymore. Come on. Let's see, is that better? Still a little bit irregular. That's good. It was just too big. And that's why it was so lumpy looking. Come on. Nice. All right. Enough of this ordeal. There's also like a bunch of small bushes running along the side. So well, actually, let me get some paths in. Well, let me actually, so many things. What do I want to do first? Let's make it a park first. Make this whole thing a park. And then, of course, it's going to need a park entrance to make it work. Although I can, like, never seem to get these things to work properly. And I wonder if, like, move it breaks things, is my guess. So I'll just put that there. And I'll just connect it up with some basic roads over here. And then yeah, let's check out some bushes. I think these ones too big. I think that actually looks nice, and I think some flowery looking ones will be better. So let's put like a row down there. And a row down there, and then I'll just copy this so I get the angles right. Oh man, I hate when that happens. When I accidentally move it again like that. There we go. And then I think I want to put in here. I'll make all these paths invisible. So people will walk in this way. And then down that way. And that should let me put in the cafe. Go to vanilla, so let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's like a little, little gift shop, little cafe. Yeah, perfect. See how it just clips right on there? Ooh. I'm actually just gonna copy this and put two of them next to each other, which is I find the cafe assets they're just too narrow. And it makes more sense when they're kind of when you kind of double them up a little bit. To me, that makes a lot more sense. And then let's also put in a restroom. Perfect. I'll back this up, get that off there. And then it looks like there's some other buildings around here as well. I'm like kind of looking off screen to the museum, and I don't know. Let's see. I have to find a way to get the paths to connect as well. So, I mean, like, because, the game wants this to be roads. I don't want this to be roads. But there's going to have to be a road here if this is going to connect properly. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use this 2-lane alley. And I'm going to sneak it up this way. And I'm going to totally cover it in trees so you can't even see it. And then I'll just, I'll let people see like this part of it where the museum goes. But I think if I bring this down directly to meet the road like that, that'll look good. Or not to meet the road, but to be like along the brick path here. Yeah, all right. And then this museum. What kind of building do I want it to be? George Lynch, don't put those words in my mouth. Don't tell me that I've built New Jersey. That'll make me so sad. I think I want this to be, since it's a museum, let's make it be commercial. Let's do like a 4 by Or even if I can get something longer would be great. But I might not have the right assets for this. We'll have anything that's a museum. That's a bit too big. So let's go back here. Maybe I'll do an office building will fit in. I don't know. Probably don't have the right size ones for those either. Although some of these vanilla assets aren't too bad. Although I'm trying to like not use vanilla assets right now because I'm thinking about eventually, you know, working with the loading screen mod to, you know, scan out some of my assets. You know, to block some of the prefabs to give myself more space and RAM to eventually, you know, have more things working. So yeah, I don't know. I also I don't need to finish this right now either. I feel like there's probably more exciting things I could be showing you around the map, so I'm just gonna kind of fill this in a little bit with trees. I'm gonna lay down my services so that I don't forget about that. I'm going to use block services for everything. All right, so I need healthcare. We're gonna need police. We're gonna need death care. And garbage. Where's garbage? There it is. And then I'm just gonna like layer these all over each other. Yeah, if you never need, like, these are the best. The block services, like, one of the coolest mods on the workshop, for sure. Oh, what is it doing? Oh, probably just gotta... No. Oh, wow, look how many people are coming in. Hell yeah. There we go. Perfect. Oh, I like that a lot. There we go. And oh, let's get out of this view now. Here we go. That is a reason why you build New York, because you get cool views like this. I gotta get the mod to hide all the little buoys. I think I might already have it. I gotta look, but yeah, I think that looks cool as hell. I mean, just imagine being someone back in the day and, you know, you've never seen anywhere else but your homeland in Europe, and, you know, you're coming on a boat and the first thing you see is this. You know, this shining statue. Certainly not all these buildings quite yet. The skyline would be quite a bit lower back then, but this is a great asset too. There's a lot of Statue of Liberty assets on the workshop, but I think this one's one of the better. You're mad because you can see a corner of the cubes? There we go. Now everybody's happy. All right. Let's see. We're not gonna call this Strawberry Gardens. We're gonna call it the Statue of Liberty. That is free. Oh, I'm so glad this is working. I thought it would be a little tougher than this, but apparently not. We're good. We're just good. I'm gonna find like the biggest tree I can and just cover up this road. I know this is like kind of a dumb way to do it, but it's not dumb if it works, okay? Then I'm actually going to put in some of these as well. Start typing in chat. Let me know what you want to build next, because we're moving away from here in just a second. All right, that's cool. We're good here. We're good. Fantastic. All right. Obviously, I could finish it up now, but I don't really feel like I want to do something else, so we're going to move on. I don't even know how to pronounce that username. I'm sorry. I don't can't read Cyrillic. Where are all the tents and security checkpoints? Oh, I know. I gotta go see the Statue of Liberty at some point. I've never been, and I will need to do that at some point in my life. Yeah, so let's build some more blocks. Let's take a look at Lower Manhattan. So I'm trying to find blocks in Lower Manhattan that are relatively easy to build, that I have the assets for, that I'm not missing like some big fancy building that I'd rather have. So how about this block right here? Let's try to get this block done. All right, so this is fronted by a narrow, but it needs to be just slightly taller than this one. And that's kind of how I base a lot of my decisions on. I'm like, I just want it to be a little bit taller. Let's get rid of that. Nope, way too small. See, like that looks like a big building and it's tiny. It's just too small. That's okay, but not the right style. I'd love to see if I can find something else. This is probably closer, but I don't know. I don't know if I really like that one. What if I went something a little bit bigger? I'll just put another one of these there. Done. We're done. And we're building. That's it. Yeah, all these are like the custom ones. So yeah, let's stick in that 4x3 that we were looking at. I put two of them together. I think I can change the color on these as well, make them a little bit lighter. Yeah, that works. Let's copy that. Yeah, changing the color of buildings is a really good way to cram some buildings in together. Surprise, surprise. All right, and then we're going to try to just do that. Is this building? Yeah, I guess this building is like a little bit, maybe a touch undersized, but I'll fill the rest in with concrete in a second. You won't even know it's missing. But then the problem is that, so the building that's like mainly in this space is enormous. And it's like angled. So I really need to find something that works well in here. So let me look. Something like this. I think that's not even big enough. Like it needs to be almost the size of this building, like kind of in between the two here. And that fits, but that doesn't look anything like what's supposed to be there. I'm trying to strike a reasonable balance, and then you can quickly understand why some of these builds take forever, because I just can't get it quite right. Yeah, maybe I just do use this and I just stack a bunch of them together. That's what we're gonna do. One of these, one of these. Okay, and then I feel like I want them all to be this kind of brownish color, so I'll copy that. And then we'll make this look pretty. Okay, so... Oh, I gotta get rid of the German flags off of these. Lots of those German flags? Well, maybe they're Belgian flags. I can't quite catch them in the wind. Maybe they're Spanish? What is that? I don't know. Tell me below if that looks like your flag. Maybe I'm disrespecting somebody without even knowing it. Will I build the tunnel that goes under the Hudson? Which ones? We're definitely gonna build tunnels. We've already built some tunnels. I mean, there's always tunnels to be built in New York. Whether it's subway tunnel, vehicular tunnel, any of those. And I guess let's just nestle one more in here. Ah, no, come on. Give me this first. Copy. Paste. Oh. And then, yeah, I always like to go back and fill in the concrete because I feel like that actually makes a big difference. Until, you know, this really ancient mod breaks and deletes all the work we've done. If anyone's ever had that happen to them in this game, put it in the chat because that's horrifying. the mod, this surface painter mod, is just really old, and sometimes when you're using it, like you'll load up your save and it'll just all be gone. Like all the surface painting you've done in the entire map is gone. Absolutely terrifying. That's the flag of Spain, yeah. That's what I thought. But then this is a French flag. This is a German flag. This is a Belgian flag. So I guess it's pulling in from all over the place. Let me see. What is it? Alt. Oh, I was just using it. B. Yes. I'm gonna get rid of the props. Flagpole. Hide this item. That's it. They're all gone. Good. What's wild to me though, Pi, is like that nobody has like every other mod's been forked a million times and you know has new versions out there, and this is like that's like the one mod where it's like nope. It's just gonna be that one broken one forever. I mean, certainly you can only pressure the mod makers so much. I mean, they do such amazing work, often for no money in this community. So you live with what you get sometimes, but it just, you know, you'd think somebody would have, you know, taken a shot at making a new version of that mod all these years later. And I actually really like the way that block came out. And each of these buildings has, you know, a whole bunch of workers in it. So that will help cut into this demand quite a little bit. And we're, you know, one block closer to an infinite number of blocks being built. I really wish some of the old assets that used to exist for New York were still there. In particular, the building that goes here, which is like 1 Broadway, so it's 26 Broadway. I'm looking at it on the camera off camera over here. And I forget who created that one. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't exist anymore. But it like nestled perfectly and filled in this entire spot. So that's why I don't want to build it, because in my mind it's like, oh, it'll come back one day. That creator will put it back up, but I mean, they probably won't. And that's okay. Like, it sucks, but what are you gonna do? Oh, the one that carries the Amtrak route on it. So that was for the person asking about the tunnels. So, right now, opening the wrong panel will kill my frame rate. I might have just done it. I might have just ruined my frame rate permanently here. I haven't quite figured out where that bug is, but yeah, now my game is like super laggy. Let me save real quick. Let's make sure that's saved so we don't lose anything we've done. It won't ruin anything that we've done, but if you look now... Okay, actually, maybe we're okay. Oof. Okay, so... Yeah. Yeah, we're a little laggy. Can you see it? Can you tell in how I'm moving the camera around? Right now we have the Lincoln Tunnel built, or at least one of the tubes. We have the Holland Tunnel built. But the trains essentially go this way. You can see the train track kind of running to here. I will eventually build that. The problem is that there's some bugs right now in the way that underground train stations work, and I just haven't had the time to like figure it out and try to find a way to hack it in. Reality though is not the most important thing. Like, I think it aesthetically makes a big difference. I think it's a vital part of New York, especially to build it into both 10 and to Grand Central. But yeah, we'll get there eventually, one thing at a time. There's never not something to do in this build. And what makes it a little bit tougher is that, you know, I'd gotten so used to my previous build just sitting down and zoning out for 3 hours and building whatever I wanted to. But now that I'm building this for a YouTube series, I really want to make sure that I'm capturing things on video. Yeah, whole stream's buggy now. The camera looks like it's moving okay. Let me see what's going on here. Huh. Yeah, YouTube's throwing me some errors. Okay, hopefully it's okay. You know, we're dealing with we're dealing with whatever we can here. So let's put the simulation back on. Yeah, it looks okay. My frame rate's back up. I might have to stay out of Lower Manhattan for a little bit. I don't want to risk it, but let's risk it. Yeah, you can see the frame rate here is definitely lower. It's like 8. But this is a normal low frame rate. Before that was artificially low. Something in the game was bugging out. But it's not just a frame drop. Like there's certain panels that if I open up while I'm running the game, like I can lose frame rate entirely to the point where I need to save and shut down and reload the game, which obviously when I'm recording is a big pain. But my load times are pretty good right now. I did finally roll out the ploppable Asphalt Plus fix. That apparently is a big cause for game loads being slow. And I am running this off of like a Gen 4 PCI now, so I mean, this is about as fast as a drive as you can get in the market. Make Washington Square, not today. I'm actually going to be doing an entire episode of parks. That's my plan at some point. So we'll do, let me put on the road view to show you, but I'll do an entire episode where I do Washington Square Park, Tompkins Square Park, Union Square, and Madison Park all at once. I think is at least that's what I'm thinking in my head. In terms of what you'll be seeing next, you'll definitely be seeing an episode, a more educational focused episode on Billionaires Row. There will be a Brooklyn episode soon because I want to build into Brooklyn. There'll probably be an East Village episode. Definitely a Times Square and Grand Central episode. But I'm not doing this in any particular order. I might throw a poll into my community page at some point. Yeah, the V apartments would be great. Yeah, let's talk about assets that I wish existed. I really want the Beekman to exist, which is the really tall, like wavy looking tower that sits right here. It's gonna make a big difference in terms of the way the city looks. I really wish there was some of those buildings that don't exist, like the Equitable Building, 26 Broadway, buildings that used to exist. I think it's 70 Pine. 70 Pine is a really cool New York building that asset's gone, doesn't exist anymore. It sits like right here, I think, or in here, one of those. I wish there were some better World Trade Center assets, although the creator of this is apparently working on some more. No promises. That's in their court, but something to maybe look forward to. What else? What else? I wish there was a Moynihan Station asset. I think that would look really cool. Although I could maybe just repurpose the Penn Station asset. I've thought about that, but I need to limit some of the prefabs first before I do that. And then up here, there's probably a few buildings missing. I'd love to be like maybe like the Fuller building that's right here, where I actually worked at one point. Maybe the Four Seasons Hotel. Some of the Robert A. Stern buildings that are very similar. There's one right here. There's one downtown as well that look almost identical. That would be really cool. The Javits Center. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's so many good buildings in New York. I mean, so many iconic ones. But I love that people did even buildings like this. Like when I built New York the first time, I really desperately wanted this iconic looking building that fills up an entire awkwardly shaped block. Because building this manually is really hard. You gotta cut buildings in and out, and it never looks great. It never looks as good as this asset's going to look. But I'm really glad that exists. Yeah, museums would be cool too, but you know, if you look at what I have, we're never really building past here. Like I will eventually build some of Central Park down here, but we're never gonna really build past that. Unless we get lucky and the game, you know, holds up well and doesn't crash when we get to like 200,000 people in it. Because I mean, think about it, we're already at 75K with just this built, and building out, you know, essentially everything in this circle I'm drawing. It's gonna put us to 200K. And the subways will help carry people, and that will help a lot, but you know, it's not gonna be perfect. So let's actually look at, see if I can get this to happen without breaking the game right now. We have like 1,500 people using the subways and like 800 using the bus, which again doesn't look like a lot for 75K, but given that I haven't built out the whole network yet, is really doing a lot to help maintain the traffic being okay. And that's why I've been able to take some time to, you know, do some intersection marking tool. I showed this right at the beginning. I'll show it again for everyone who was just, you know, joining us recently, but this was a lot of fun to build, and I definitely want to roll out this strategy more often around the build because I think it looks really nice. Well, you build a part of Brooklyn that goes from Red Hook to Dumbo. So Red Hook is down here. Somebody actually asked on the comments of the last video. I don't know if I'll get quite all the way down to here. I think the last time when I built this outside of YouTube, I basically built the entire BQE, which kind of loops around this way. And then I built the cantilever portion. And then I basically went to Atlantic Avenue, which I think is right here. And that's basically where I ended. And I kind of quick and dirty linked in the tunnel into this connection. But I think if this build works out better, I would like to go a little bit further down. Maybe not all the way to Red Hook, but I think doing some of this industrial area could be really worthwhile. Times Square, yeah, definitely happening. Probably in a recent episode, in some upcoming episodes. I'd say by the end of May, you'll probably see a Times Square episode. My problem is that I really want to work on the Billionaires Row episode, which is much more involved. I'm writing a script, I'm doing stock footage. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm trying to bring in a bigger audience. And I'm going away on vacation soon as well. So I'm going to be away for like, you know, a decent amount of time, and I'm not bringing my desktop computer with me. So that'll slow down development a little bit. So that's why I wanted to get this live stream in. I thought it would be important to, you know, talk to all of you and show you some more stuff and build a little bit more before I take a break for a little while. And, you know, there'll probably be a couple weeks gap without a video. All right. Yeah, here's some more that I built also. I started building out Sarah G. Roosevelt Park, which extends further along into here, but I think really makes a nice delineation. I'd like to soon, like, I'm almost like kind of want to build out from here and like expand it up and down into finishing the rest of the Lower East Side and starting to build the East Village. I'd love to get like all of this, like some of these parks might never get filled in entirely, but like all of this will get like filled in. I'll even do the entire East River Park. You know, I really think of my New York builds as being a giant circle. So almost like all those older parts of New York, where the lower parts of Manhattan interact with the western parts of Brooklyn and Queens. Those are the most important parts for me. So they'll get the most focused for sure. Does 33 Thomas Street exist? Yes. Where is it? Right here. Long Lines building. Yeah, this is a nice area because you have this building, you have the Tribeca Tower, which is a real life asset. Obviously, some of the buildings of the courthouses and some of the government and federal buildings that are in this area in New York. Some of the better assets on the workshop, you know, leading down into the Woolworth building, if I can get those words out of my mouth. This is another block that I built recently. Combined a couple of custom assets together to make them look proper. And one of them's throwing some errors, but that's okay. You, of course, have buses and subways. Haven't built Flatiron yet. Yeah, that's another one that I do need to build. Why don't we build that right now? You guys want to see the Flatiron building? Why not? Let's remember where it is, though. Flatiron building is right against Madison Square Park. It is actually in this square right here. So let's go Flatiron. Oh, come on. That's okay. Let's back this up. This will give me a nice backdrop for when I build Madison Square Park. Now, there actually is like a plaza asset that goes with this asset, which I don't have installed for whatever reason. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to fill this in with concrete. And then I think I will just... I think this area is like full of like, yeah, like tables and chairs. So let's put in some tables. Not tables, just table. And which ones do we like here? I need to get some new tables in the workshop. That's one thing I keep forgetting to get. I want to get some ones with umbrellas. There was another area recently, and you'll see it actually in the Billionaires Row episode. But yeah, let's put a food cart here. Let's put some trash cans out, like these ones, like this style. I think will look good. What else? What else? Can we do some like planters or potted plants maybe? If I can find a small one, because what you'll find like in between the bike lane here and the concrete, there's like buffers essentially. But I gotta find ones that are a little bit smaller but not too tall. I think that'll work. You know, just so that nobody can. Well, actually, let me just draw these out in a row. Those are too big though. Why are those so big? I need these like, yeah, let's put them like 3.5 meters apart. Okay. Just a few of these on either edge, I think will look good. And then let's see if we have any like flowers that'll fit in there. I don't have a lot of flower assets, because I don't do a lot of that kind of detailing. But I think these will look nice. Whoa, 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 whoa. Perfect. And I can just add these directly on top. Because you know how I tend to do things. I don't, you know, I'm not the heaviest detailer. I'm certainly not the most talented detailer. But when you get a small area like this, why download an entire extra asset which clogs up your assets if you can just, you know, design something yourself real quick? But I just need more though. I really do need more. I need more props. I had a lot of better props actually in my last build, in the East Yorkshire build. But I just don't have a lot in this, and you know, if I can get the hiding the prefabs thing to work the way I want it to, I think that'll really help. Yes, a cycle rack, that's what I wanted. Looks like there's a few of these in this area as well. And then I'll put some of these bikes in. I think I had better bike props too. Like, I definitely had. Oh wait. Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay. These are custom ones. All right, good. That's fine. So yeah, just a quick and dirty detail on this, but I gotta find somebody who makes like a bags of trash icon, because New York's just like covered in trash everywhere, and I feel like that would look really cool. You know, like I want like a pile of black rubbish bags that I can just like plop on like street corners everywhere in this build. How come I don't use the green New York City subway assets? Because they don't, like, the way subways work in this game, it doesn't really matter. And I have used them in a few places. Actually, I'm gonna continue to spoil what I've built, but I think I used it up here. Yeah. But it doesn't like, or maybe that's not one of them. I did put some of them down somewhere. I forget where, I'm sorry, but oh, it must have been on the L, because that's the last thing that I built. Yeah, here we go. Because, like, I mean, yes, these look more like the New York subway stairs. Of course they do. But in reality, it's like, you know, one set of stairs on 4 sides. I tend to hide a lot of these with buildings. I just, you know, it's a limitation of the game. So I put them in locations that make sense, that don't interfere with other buildings, but they're never going to look perfectly with you in real life. What happened to the Yorkshire build is that the save died. And I probably could get it working again if I really tried, but I've changed so many of my mods since then, I really don't think it would work. What happened was I had built... I forget exactly what it was. Oh, so in Hull in real life, they have some of these, like, you know, drawbridge type bridges crossing the river. And there is like a movable drawbridge set of mods now, but I guess they're kind of tricky, and they just straight up killed my save. And then I just didn't feel like going back and rebuilding what I had lost. And I'm a lot better in New York because I'm saving. You saw I have like 60 plus saved files. So not taking the risk in this build that it's going to die because of my own mistakes. Yeah, scaffolding. So that there is a scaffolding. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah. So there are scaffold assets, which I haven't really used yet, but I could totally get away with, like, you know, using these. Where do they go like that? I don't know which direction these are meant to go. But yeah, I mean, I could probably do some detailing like that, but, you know, I'm going to do stuff like that for screenshots, which I don't really do a ton of. This is not a screenshot focused build. I want to be doing episodes of this. I want to be using this build as a template, be doing educational stuff, to be doing interesting videos for YouTube, because I want to broaden my appeal. If I'm lucky today, if some of you have subscribed, which if you're not subscribed, I mean, I'm making a mistake. So let's see. I'm gonna refresh my app, my YouTube Studio. I'm still 2 subscribers away from 1,500. But I think we'll get, you know, we'll keep building at. It's not a race. These things take time, and I'm just thankful for what I do have. But, you know, given the amount of time that I put into this, I would really like to find ways to grow the channel more. And I know using this as a template to do other kinds of videos is going to be a way to get that to happen. Yeah, net side out. Yeah, I don't care. I don't. It's all good. And we're going to add newer trains like the T line. So for those of you who don't know, the T is not a current New York City subway service. The T is meant to be the line that runs from the second phase of the 2nd Avenue subway from 125th Street over to 2nd Ave and then down through the current phase and eventually into phases 3 and 4, which will run all the way down 2nd Avenue and eventually turn and dead end somewhere around here. At Hanover Square. I would like to build that at some point. That'll definitely be like a fun video in the future when more is built out, to do like a what if. How much does it change things, comparing the two? But that's going to be way down the line. For sure, for sure. Gotta get all the other subways built first. But I think I really do want to get a lot of the lettered lines in. The problem is that I have to feed them from somewhere. So I am feeding the J. So we built this in the last live stream, but I actually this part of it we didn't build. Like, I didn't get the train working. We built like some of the setup for the bridge, and the bridge is not done. It's not final. I know it doesn't look great yet. But I did go back into it and kind of add the subway line over it. So the J and the L are working. I built, I kind of like hacked the L in temporarily for now, but I will build out, you know, all the other lettered lines. The problem is that most of them get fed by like the Coney Island yard in real life, which is way off camera, but the way I used to do it last time was by building a train depot kind of south of Barclays Center and J Street Metro Tech, which is two main big transfer hubs in Brooklyn. So that's why I really want to get into Brooklyn soon, because I can't really expand Manhattan too much until we get some of the subway connections that need to come from Brooklyn. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Yep, definitely will build the High Line at some point. I did kind of build like a really small section of it here, because part of it goes underneath the side of Hudson Yards and through the cutout in this building, which is super cool. And let's actually put the road view on, you can see. So the High Line, this is a portion of it. It kind of like connects here, but most of it is this line you're seeing. No, wait, is it? Yeah, that's the High Line right here. I will build it in the future when we build this neighborhood. It might even get its own episode. I think it's, you know, popular enough that I could do that. If you haven't seen the episode for Hudson Yards, I think it was 2 episodes ago, you should check that out. Did a little bit of detailing, you know, built out some subway stations. The 7 here is always popping. This whole area is really busy, which I like. Queens Bridge represent. That is a bridge that will get built. So I actually, when I built out of this area, I started to build the bridge. Again, this is, you know, definitely not final, but the 59th Street Bridge, the Ed Koch Bridge, if you want to call it that, which you shouldn't. It goes across here into Queens and has just crazy complicated intersections. But this will definitely get built. This is kind of like the northernmost we'll build, and that's why it's important. We will build this connection to Roosevelt Island to make Roosevelt Island work. But like this kind of whole area of Queens is super complicated because you have the train yard and multiple elevated subway lines, multiple underground subway lines, big buildings, parks. It's a really tough, detailed build, a lot harder than a lot of the other parts of New York, but it's worthwhile for sure. All right, I got about another 15 minutes in me, I think. So let's start hearing some requests. What would you like to see before we sign off? And I do like, as always, as I've been like, we're gonna build a bunch of blocks today, and we've done like 2. While you're all asking, I'm just gonna start throwing in some blocks here. This is what I was working on like literally last night. Where is it though? Okay. Maybe I'll do this block right here. All right, let's see if I can speed build this. There's like a 2x3 of this. No, I want one of these ones with the awnings on it. I gotta find that though. I think it's a 1 length. Yeah, it's one of these. Ah, perfect. This one right here. And then another 1x2. Let's put that there. Like once I get used to the kinds of buildings I like, the ones that I'm using over and over again, you know, this can come together pretty fast. And for there's some pretty unique looking buildings around here in New York, almost like L-shaped. I need to copy this to there. I'm just going to keep going around in an L pattern, filling in what needs to be here. All right, perfect. And then I think I'm actually going to copy this guy as well. Let's put that there. And then there looks like to be some more like almost like not condo buildings, but like, you know, wider buildings. You get a lot of weird buildings in the Lower East Side, like everyone I think has an idea of New York of like, you know, buildings more like this, these kind of, you know, singular walk-up buildings, but in some of the areas in the Lower East Side that have undergone various states of renewal, you have, it's all over the place. I mean, really, it's really strange at times. All right, let's build this over there. And I do like the Lower East Side because it has all these little corner shops. And some of the times they're like a bodega, and sometimes they're like the nicest, fanciest bar you've ever been to. Like a bar that you go into and you immediately think like, I'm not cool enough to be here. But you never know. You never know in this part of the city what you're going to be getting when you walk into a place. Whoa, that's way too big. All right, fine. I'll do a 2. Fine. If you don't give me a nice 3 to work with, we're going to do a 2. And I hate that you're probably hearing every keystroke now. That's the one downside of losing my my thing earlier, losing the NVIDIA broadcast from working. I also went looking on the workshop the other day because I know there's a bunch of buildings that I'm missing that maybe just don't exist anymore. But there's just a whole bunch of assets that I used to love using that are just gone. I can't find them, and I don't know why. And they're just gone, like tears and rain. They're just gone. I need more of these too. I really wish there were more 4x1 assets. This is like the only one that I have. And it's a nice asset, but it doesn't work everywhere. I need more. There needs to be more, like I wish there was a way in the workshop to like sort by how many, like the size. Like I say, oh, I want a 4x1, and then the workshop's just like, oh, here you go. But alas, we don't get that. So one thing I don't like about Steam, like everyone praises, you know, Valve for what they've done for the gaming industry and all that. And I don't deny that whatsoever, but Steam itself feels so clunky and broken at times. And that's not even bringing up how many creators in the City Skylines community are angry with it for, you know, them putting in all this time on assets. And then you put it up there and like you get one downvote and you're just screwed. Like you don't get the respect anymore. It just evaporates. And that's a shame because it shouldn't be like that. Like we should be encouraging people as much as we can. Especially if there's going to be a City Skylines 2. I hate when that happens. This picket tool I really like, but sometimes it just like picks the wrong thing. I gotta stretch these out. These should be like 6 apart? I forget what I did before. There's a way like to use these as plane trees essentially, like, you know, roadside trees. There we go. That's far enough. And then there's another row of them on the other side. And I do want to be more cognizant to do this a little bit more, to put trees on the roads, because I really think people need to understand that New York's got a good amount of it's got a good amount of trees. People think New York is so barren, but it's just not. I mean, it can be in certain areas, don't get me wrong, but it really isn't. Ports make a pier. We made a pier today. For those of you who joined late, you can see the ferries going to the Statue of Liberty. This is like not done. This is not done. But the pier works. Yeah, I do like the building with smoke coming out of it. Except, like, it looks really cool here, but then it looks a little bit too much over here. when there's like 8 of them and running at the same time. I guess what I could do is I could go into the Bob tool and like reduce the probability of the smoke effect showing up, and that would limit the amount that are happening. Somebody said Grand Central Station. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that today. It's going to take form in one of its own episodes, because I do have the asset for it, which somebody had made a really cool asset for it, like on the workshop, and then like it basically got banned because like there is one you can pay for to the creators. So let me pause because I don't want this to like show up, but yeah. So this is the version that's like you can buy. It's one of like the DLC packs, and it's not bad. I think it's a little light colored, but maybe we can darken it. Yeah, that's better. I think it's pretty nicely detailed, and when you add it in, like I like how it has all the little doors and gates along the bottom that kind of run along the side streets that you're not even going to really see. Yeah. It's a good asset. We're going to use it for sure in its proper space. I love how this keeps happening too. I have this big empty space here, and for some reason cars just like show up in the middle of it. Let's get the simulation back on. So we're closing in at about 77K right now. We've added a couple of thousand people today, and I think these buildings will continue to add. These are pretty small occupancy buildings, but they will continue to add more people. And I think they're going to like living around here because you have a little park, which, yeah, it's not bringing in visitors because that mechanic tends to be pretty broken with all the mods. But that's all right. That's right. Let's finish this one block that we started, because the other side of it is just like classic New York. Let's see. Let's go for a bunch of 2x4s because these guys just look perfect for this job. And then you just got to vary it a little bit. You got to put in, you know, a shorter one just for fun, so it doesn't look too homogeneous. And then I'll even throw in, I really wish that these buildings had fire escapes on them. I wish like this building had like a 1x4 for, and like some variants for residential. Like that looks much more like a New York building. And then I have these, but they're, again, there used to be a 1x4 that had, I can't find it anymore. I just can't. So what are you gonna do? You know, you got these slightly taller ones, but these don't have gates either. They don't have fire escapes. And then let's see. I think I do have a 3 that I can put in. Well, vanilla, get out of here. Let's see, let's get the rest of this block filled in. I don't know. Let's see. This is 3 more. I'd really like to get a building on the corner here. Well, maybe I'll do another one of these. That'll fit at this angle perfect. And then just a 1x4 to finish off this last little. There we go, one more block down. So let me just. There we go. And that's how it can come along pretty quickly, but I like, you know, we're getting some form of a New York City streetscape here. We're starting to get some nice angles and some nice views. Need some new ambulances. That's one thing I gotta pick up too. I should be leaving myself notes as I'm saying all this, but there's already too much to pay attention to. All right then, guys. I think that's gonna wrap it up. Gotta try to chill out for the remainder of my Sunday, starting another work week ahead. But I want to thank you all, as always, for showing up today. Continuing to get great turnout for these live streams. I will try to do one about once a month, as I've been doing. So hopefully the next one will be sometime in mid to late May. But there'll be at least one video in between then. Hopefully two, if I can get around to it. No promises. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But thank you, as always. Like and subscribe.